Leave me all on red, that's some cold. Then you hit me late at night, you some bold arrows, yeah. But you already know that, yeah. And I love it when you throw that, yeah. Shawty, where you sold at, baby, where you goes at.
Okay, guys, bear with me in this story time because I have gone through my glass of wine. All right, and red wine hits you different. I don't care what anyone says. Red wine will get you fucked up. But I needed it because I don't want to cry through this video, and this shit is fresh. But we're going to talk about how I found out my boyfriend was cheating on me on Valentine's Day. So, for context, my boyfriend and I had been together for almost 3 years. By all means, not a perfect relationship. Not at all. Was it a toxic one? No. Was it perfect all the time? No. No relationship is. And anyone who makes their relationship look perfect on social media, I promise you there is always another side, and there are moments that you don't see. All relationships struggle. Relationships are not supposed to be easy. But I can promise you they're not supposed to be this either. So on Tuesday, it was Tuesday, the Tuesday before Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day was on Wednesday. And he came over, he brought me my Valentine's gifts. A couple of days later, a couple days prior, he had asked me to be his Valentine and everything, brought me over flowers and chocolates and all the sweet things, right? So on Tuesday, he came over in the evening. He had went to the store, bought me some wine, got us all of the ingredients so that we could make heart-shaped pizzas on Valentine's Day. Little did I fucking know. And we had a great night on Tuesday. Everything was perfect, genuinely. Like, I had no idea what the next morning was going to bring. And when I tell you God was looking out for me. And on Wednesday, we wake up, we're just kind of like scrolling through Instagram, scrolling through Snapchat, and I look over and, I see a Snapchat and I see all of these girls that I don't recognize in his Snapchat feed. And throughout our relationship, going through each other's phones has never been something that we do. I'm a firm believer that going through your boyfriend's phone when he's sleeping is disrespectful. Shit like that, personally, for me, is a standard that I've always held myself to. If I'm going to go through your phone, I'm going to ask. I'm not going to go through your shit like that. And it's not even on some, that's your privacy or anything. It's more of a respect thing. I'm not going to go through your things without asking. So I see it, and for whatever reason, I feel the need to go through it. So I look at him and I ask him if I can go through a Snapchat. And, I felt like it was fair for me to ask because he had went through my phone without me asking when I was like passed out sleep. Whatever, that's a story time for another time. So I just asked, and he said yeah. And he's kind of stalling a little bit. He's like plugging in his phone and everything. And I'm sitting there patient because I asked, right? But I asked not expecting to find anything. I'm thinking I'm just going to go through this Snapchat. It's going to be innocent, friendly shit. And I'm going to give it back to him. I'm going to be like, thank you for letting me look through it. Happy there wasn't anything. So as I'm sitting there waiting for him to hand me his phone, I watch this man in real time delete 3 conversations. And now my heart's beating pretty fast. Now the spidey senses are doing what they need to do. I'm tingling, and I look at him and I am like, what the fuck did you just delete? I looked him dead in his eyes. And this man had the audacity to say nothing. I didn't delete anything. He denied it. So now I'm losing patience because I see 2020. I just watched you delete that shit in front of my eyes. So now you're treating me like I'm stupid. And now I feel like I'm about to find some shit in that phone. So hand it over right now. I'm losing my patience. I'm getting an attitude. And honestly, this is bringing me out of character because how are you going to sit and lie in my face when I just saw you do it? So he hands me his phone and I can just tell. I can just tell I'm about to find a whole different side of him. The way he was looking at me, His aura had just changed. He's no longer relaxed and calm. He's like, his hand was shaking when he gave me his phone, and I'm just preparing myself. And I thought I was preparing myself for the worst. Little did I know. Little did I know. So I'm swiping. I'm just swiping on all of these snaps. I'm opening snaps. I don't give a fuck. I'm looking at them. I'm scrolling. I'm scrolling because one thing about these men is they are going to save the shit that they should not save. If you're going to cheat, cheat smart. Don't cheat like a dumb motherfucker. I'm sorry, YouTube. YouTube doesn't like when I swear. But when I tell you, if you're going to delete some conversations, you should have had just deleted like all of them. You should have blocked all of those women if you knew what was in your phone. So I swipe each one of these girls, all sexual conversations, nudes. He's saving videos of girls shaking their ass for him, talking just sexually. He's swiping up on all their stories, asking, show me what's under the clothes. I want to breastfeed. Talking to these girls in ways he doesn't even talk to me. And at this point, my heart is in my stomach. And I'm shaking. And I just start crying. The tears are just flowing, and I'm reading. And I start texting these girls. And I'm like, do you know he has a girlfriend? Because one thing about me is I am not going to press a girl who didn't know about me. I will never be one of those people who are like, F her, F this, she's a that. No. If you didn't know about me, I can't have a problem with you. Because what are you going to do with information you don't have? So that's the first question I'm asking all of these girls. Every single one of them say no. I didn't even know he had a girlfriend. So at that point, all I do, I go through, I take the raunchiest of the conversations, and I text those girls. I Snapchat them. I say my Instagram is this, DM me. I give that man his phone back because I've seen enough, and at this point, you just lied straight to my face, so let me just go directly to the source. Give him his phone back. He's sitting there silent, saying nothing. So I'm just waiting. It's just any minute now, and sure enough, the DMs start coming. They start flooding. Oh, my heart is like, and they're all like, hey girl, you told me to message you. And I'm like, yeah, I'm Alyssa. I have been for almost 3 years, and I'm just now finding all these girls. So I'm just trying to figure out what was going on. And every single one of them was like, I didn't know he had a girlfriend. I had no idea. Genuinely, I had no idea. He never said he had a girlfriend. I would have never pursued him if I knew that he had a girlfriend. Like, I genuinely didn't know. And yeah, girls can lie, girls can do this, girls can do that. But when I tell you every single one of them said they didn't know he had a girlfriend. And when I was going through these messages, I knew they weren't lying because a couple of them had asked if he had a girlfriend. He said, nah. Okay. So now we're playing in my face because you have a whole life at home. You have keys to my apartment. You don't pay a bill in here. I go grocery shopping for you. I make sure that my fridge is stocked so that you have snacks in here for you all the time. I go out of my way to make sure I give you everything I can. I spend money on you I can't afford to spend just because I like to see you happy. And you're out here entertaining these females as if I don't exist. Okay. So we keep going, we keep talking. And all of these girls are explaining, so far, every one of them has said nothing physical. We just have flirted over the phone. We've sexted. We've done this. It hurt me to my core. Don't get me wrong. But at this point, in my mind and in my heart, I'm thinking, this is something that I may be able to work through. And I'm not going to sit here and tell anyone that they need to stay through anything like this, or that I deserved this, or I'm, I don't value myself enough to walk away. I'm not saying that. For me, in my heart and who I am, emotional cheating is something that I could have gotten past. It's something that I could have worked through setting a lot of fucking boundaries. Don't get me wrong. Don't get it twisted. After this, you're not about to be on social media. You're going to block all of these females. First of all, you're not going to have Snapchat. You're not going to have Instagram because you've showed me that you are not mature enough to have them. You know, social media would have been off the table, all the way off the table. And we would have changed a whole lot of things about our relationship had it just been emotional. But I get to the last girl. And when I tell you guys, God will fucking show you things before they happen. I tell you, when I used to go through his Instagram following just to see, you know, what girls he was following, who he, you know, who he's, you know, whose likes he's in, you know, just being a girlfriend. Okay, you've all done it. Don't look at me crazy. You know, you have all looked through that man's Instagram following 1,000 times to see if he's following any new bitches, right? This one particular girl, I had looked at her Instagram. I had clicked on it a handful of times, and this is no disrespect for her. This is no disrespect to her. Okay, but she was honest. She was genuine. This is no hate towards her. But I looked at her page over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I don't know why I always clicked it. I think it's because I didn't really remember the names of the girls that I would, you know, but you start to recognize, like, you know, like, oh yeah, like he's been following her. He's been in her likes. And I would always look at her and be like, nah, it would never be you. If it's going to be anyone, it's not going to be you. And it was just because she was so far from what I thought was his type. Right? Because men will do this. Men will sit and look you in your eyes and tell you you are everything that they've ever wanted. You are the girl of their dreams. You have the body of their dreams. They have never been with anyone like you. They will describe to you the kind of woman that they don't like, the kind of woman that, you know, they would never be attracted to. And those will be the same women they cheat on you with. Trust that. Trust that. If you have a significant other or you're dating, you know, maybe hoping to make something official, and this person constantly tells you that this certain type isn't his type or that he doesn't mess with these kinds of girls, yes, he fucking does. In fact, they're probably the only girls that he prefers. Trust that. And I know people love to, like, get all controversial on Instagram when girls are like, you know, like, he follows all of these people who look nothing like me. No, trust that. Trust that, because every single one of these girls that he was sending sexual things to were white, blonde, look nothing like me. And that's no disrespect to anyone that looks like that or has those features. But I'm just saying, here I am, you know, brown skin, brown eyes, a curvy body type. These girls look nothing like me. Not a single thing in common. And yet he tells me all of the time that I'm everything he could ever want. That I'm everything that he has ever wanted. And he could never look at anyone like he looks at me. Anyways, back to the Instagram DMs. So, talking with her, my heart is dropping as we talk. And he was like, I didn't know he had a girlfriend. And for whatever reason, okay, I had asked for a list of his exes before because I'm telling you, God will put it on your heart. And I had asked for all of the girls that he had been with sexually and the girls that he had dated. And he gave me the list. And I don't know why this one didn't register. Okay, because at the time when I asked him that, I asked that he unfollow them and not speak to those girls. It was just something I wasn't comfortable with. Call me insecure, whatever. I just feel personally, you're not friends with your exes. That's not something we do here because I'm not friends with mine. It's just disrespectful. Because what do you need a friendship with your ex for? Tell me, please. I'm listening. I'm all ears. What do you need a friendship with your ex with? What do you need a friendship with your ex for? I'm still waiting. Because if we're in a relationship, right, and we're planning our future together, there should be no part of your past that you need in your life presently. What don't I give you that you need from someone else? Because in my eyes, you're my best friend. You're my guy best friend. You're everything. I go to you for everything. You're the only person I go to for anything because you're my person. You're my other half. I don't have a need to have all of these guy friends. I don't. What do I need them for? And that's no diss if you have guy friends or anything like that. But for me as a person, I don't need that. When I have my person, that's what I need. And I'll have my girlfriends and I'll have my, I think it's very different to have couple friends, and like guy friends who are in relationships with your girlfriends. That's one thing. But to be having a bunch of like single guy friends, that's just not something for my life that I need at this point. Because I found, or I thought that I had found everything I needed, right? So that was a boundary that I had set. So I had found out that this girl was his ex-girlfriend. The first one, the very first one. Let me take the last of my wine. We're talking, and I just asked her, have you ever met up? I saw that he sent you his address. And she was like, yes, we've met up. So at that point, I stopped talking to her for a sec. He's standing across the room. I look at him and I tell him, I'm talking to her. Is there anything else that you need to tell me? And he's looking at me and he's like, just like sitting there like men do. Like they don't know what the fuck to say. Okay, you forgot how to speak now? All right, word. So I look at him one more time. I look him in his eyes and I asked him if he had ever had sex with that girl. Because at this time, I didn't, for whatever reason, I don't know if I missed it or if he just never told me, I didn't realize this was his ex-girlfriend. So I asked if they had ever had sex. And this man had the audacity to say, yeah, we had sex when we used to date. And I'm sitting here like, okay, now you're treating me like I'm stupid, like I'm boo-boo the fucking fool. In our relationship, have you ever had sexual relations with this girl? Have you? Doesn't say anything. I text her. You guys met up, ? She said, yeah, when I was home for winter break. And I said, you had sex? And she said, yes. And she pulls out receipts. And she says, to be exact, it was January 11th. And he's not innocent, period. Because he said he wanted to do it again. So now I am sitting here, I am shaking, my heart is broken in a million pieces. I'm going through all 5 stages of grief at once because I'm sitting here like, what the hell? Who have I been lying my head next to at night? Who is this person? Because I don't recognize you anymore. I don't know who you are. I genuinely don't, because this person that you are to them is a guy that I don't recognize. And it's someone that I never thought you were capable of being. And I sat there for a long time. I stopped texting these girls because at that point, I know everything I need to know. There's nothing that these girls can tell me that I need to know anymore. I know that you've stepped out on me physically, and that's all I need to know. So now I'm addressing him, and my heart is breaking, and I'm sitting here just like, you gave your body to someone else. You gave your body to someone else. You used to tell me constantly that our connection was like nothing ever that you had ever had before. That you would never compromise, that you felt like our souls were connected. And you picked this girl up and parked in a parking lot and just gave it up like that? Yeah. I don't know who you are anymore. And I swear that whole, gosh, it had to be 3 hours, 4 hours of me talking at him. Because I'm just sitting here, my life has flashed before my eyes. And I know he doesn't know what to say because you've been caught. What do you say to that? There's no way to talk yourself out of this. You're just caught, and you gotta sit here and listen to everything that I'm saying. Because I wanted to make sure that he felt the depth of my hurt and my pain, and he understood what he had done to me. The part of my heart that he promised to repair, the things that he swore he up and down he would never do, the ways he promised he would never hurt me. He did it all and then some. and lied over and over and over to my face. And it's crazy, guys, because throughout this relationship, I was constantly asking for more. And when I say more, I meant more attention, more loving actions, and more of his presence. That's all I asked for. And I asked to be a priority. 4 things. 4 things. Never anything material. Never asked him to buy me shit. Never. In fact, I probably spent more on him than I spent on anyone in my entire life. Got him a PS5 for Christmas. Got him these Callaway golf clubs for his birthday. You know, I would fly out to see him. You know, he went to school in Mississippi. I would fly out to see him. Spent money on him I didn't have. All the time. All the time. Because I loved him more than I loved me. And I realized, looking back on it, that was where I fucked up. Because you can't love anyone more than you love yourself. And I did. And that's who I am as a person, no matter what anyone says or anyone who wants to give me the whole love yourself speech. Trust me, I love myself, sis. I love myself so much. But I'm a person who, when I love you, I love you. I love you selflessly. I love you unconditionally, and I will lay my life on the line if it means that it makes your life better. And some people may think that is an unhealthy way of loving, but I've always believed in a sacrificial sort of love. And so me sacrificing certain parts of myself or certain things in the moment that didn't seem like a big deal, if it made his life a little easier or if it made him feel a little more at ease, or if I could gift him something that made him feel so loved and valued, you know, because that's a part of my love language. I love to gift. I love to gift. And I would handwrite him the longest letters, and I would do everything I would want someone to do for me. And I never made him feel anything. I never made him feel like less of a person when he was going through financial hardships and maybe couldn't afford to take me on dates or do anything like that. I didn't care. I cared about him. I'll pay for our movie date. That's not a problem. You don't even have to ask me. In fact, let me buy the movie tickets beforehand so you don't have to sit and watch me pay for something that you know in your heart you would like to pay for. Let me just do it all online so you don't even have to go through that just emotional little ego tear down, because I know how men are, and I know that men naturally like to be providers, okay? So when he wasn't able to provide, I would do it, and I would do it in secret so that he didn't have to feel like less than a man, less of a man. And I would do that shit selflessly without even thinking about it, just knowing that I knew how he was beating himself up in his head. And so I would go out of my way to make him more comfortable in every single area of his life. Shit that I had never even told him about. Things that I would do just constantly, trying to make him feel like a high value person when he was at his lowest and when he was going through things and he felt like he wasn't where he wanted to be in life. I did everything I can to prove to him that he was everything I wanted and more. And he was. He was everything I wanted, even at his lowest. And I think that's what broke my heart the most, because I would have given my life for him. I would have sacrificed. I would have given every part of me if it meant that his life was a little easier. Christmas time is a financial hardship for everyone. But I would still go all out. It was like our first Christmas spent together. And there were like, oh gosh, they were so expensive. $850 retro 4s. And I got them in like that rare baby blue color. So fucking expensive. But I got them for him because I wanted to show him my appreciation. And then the next Christmas, it was the PS5. And, you know, I got him a nice cologne. And then it was his birthday. And, you know, Callaway golf clubs. Things that I never meant to be materialistic. I just constantly wanted to thank him and show him how much I appreciated everything he was doing for me. And looking back on it, it wasn't a whole lot. And I'm not going to say and sit here and lie and act like he was a terrible boyfriend, because he treated me on the outside better than anyone I could have ever imagined would. And that's what made me fall in love with him, because of the way he acted towards me, never letting me open my car door, holding every single door, buying me flowers, taking me on dates, making me feel loved, writing me love letters back. Things like that I didn't have to ask him to do, the ways he just naturally wanted to provide when he was able to. The ways he wanted to plan extravagant dates to show me that he loved me, maybe even if he financially couldn't afford to do it, but he would do it to show his love for me, things like that. So I always felt like the gifts weren't about the material things. It was about me showing my appreciation, and I would go out of my way and I would gift for his whole family, his mom, his dad, his siblings, just so he understood that I see this as an us thing, as a future thing, as one day we're going to be married and your family is going to be my family and we're going to all be one big happy family. And so let me show my appreciation for them too, because they raised you to be the man that you are. And looking back on it, they raised him to be a good man. They did. But somewhere along the way, he got lost and he fell short. And he's been falling ever since. So it was hard, to say the least. This is fresh. It's like people talk about the cheating and like the leaving and never looking back, but they don't talk about the constant struggle of wondering, what do I do? I saw how this man treated me and lied to my face. I saw it with my own two eyes, and yet he was the person I told myself saved me. Because in a lot of ways he helped me heal from so many traumatic experiences, from the sexual trauma I had experienced. He helped me. He helped me talk through it. He was there for some of the most difficult moments of my life. He was there, and he showed me grace and compassion and kindness. From the verbal and mental abuse and at times physical that I dealt with from my previous relationship, he was there to reassure me. He never once raised his voice at me. He never once yelled at me, because he understood that, first of all, when you love someone and you respect a woman, you don't raise your voice at her. And secondly, he understood that that's all my ex used to ever do. And so even when him and I would have disagreements, he wouldn't raise his voice at me, yet I would still shut down, because emotionally and mentally I felt like if I spoke, I was going to cause more problems and he was going to be more upset with me and it was going to escalate. And so he would sit with me for hours in silence, because he knew that the conversation may not be going any further because I'm stuck mentally and emotionally and there's nothing he could do or say to take that stress from me. But he would sit with me until I felt better and ready to talk, and he wouldn't hold that against me. And so it's hard when you have someone like that who has done all of these good things and these positive things and these happy things, while simultaneously breaking you even more in the process. And what he didn't understand was the emotional cheating I could have healed with him and moved forward with him. But the physical cheating, that had a way of bringing back all of my childhood traumas. Sometimes I feel like people don't understand that being sexually abused changes the way you look at sex and your body and everything that comes with it. And you'll constantly feel like you don't hold any value because of the things that have been done to you. And it makes you feel like you're less of a woman. And this past year, I had found out I have PCOS. And that me, in the future, trying to have children is going to be a very difficult time if I can have them. And it was one of those things that made me feel like less of a woman. And all of these things came straight to surface when I found out he had given his body physically, because now I wake up and I look in the mirror and I look at myself and I wonder, what is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? What don't you have that they have? What don't you have that they want? What don't they see in you that they see in these other girls? And when I mentioned that girl that he had slept with, the only one that I talked to that had said that they had slept together, when I tell you, looking at her, I'm not going to body shame and I'm not going to do any of those things right now. But when I tell you she wasn't me, it made me look at myself even worse, because I'm like, damn, you really must have just hated me to go off and do that while you're in a relationship with me. When I would have given you the world, everything you asked for, anything you asked for, whether I had it to give or not, I would have given it to you, because that's how I love and that's what I do. And so now I wake up in the morning and I look at myself and I wonder why I am not pretty enough, and why I am not curvy enough or skinny enough, or what about my body is not enough that you felt like you had to go outside of our relationship to get it from so many other girls. What was I not doing? I loved you with all that I had, and I gave you all that I am, and you wanted more. And I didn't have anything else to give, so I sit here and I wonder, what more could I have done and what more could I have given for you to just be loyal to me? And it's crazy because guys will sit here and act like if the right guy of a rich guy came and wanted to be with us, we would drop everything to be with him. In reality, there are guys in our DMs constantly that have more than the person we are in a relationship with, and we stay with the person we are with because we love them and we see value in them more than they even see in themselves. And they make all of these like comments and jokes about how easy girls are to be unfaithful and unloyal. In reality, a woman who really loves you will be faithful until the day that she dies, and she won't ever ask or want more than what you are for her. You think we don't have better out there? You think we don't have better options? You think we don't have people who have more than you? I have verified basketball players in my DMs, and what was I doing? Loving you, seeing your potential, trusting that you would eventually be everything you wanted to be, and that was good for me. I don't need the status. I don't need the things that are superficially valuable. I needed your heart and soul. And instead of giving me that, you gave me a person that you couldn't live up to. And you sold me a dream. That's what it was, honestly. He sold me a dream of a person that he knew he could not rise up to be. And that is why you have to just try so hard to stay away from insecure men. Because insecure men will be so intimidated by the fact that they will never be enough for you, that they will do everything in their power to destroy you without realizing what they're doing. So trust me on this, ladies. See your value, see your worth, and don't ignore the red flags. Don't ignore those boundaries that you feel need to be set. If he has female friends, no. If he's friends with all of his exes, no. If he's willing to defend another's, if he is willing to validate another woman's feelings and disrespect you, he's not the one. If he'd rather fight for his female friend's opinions and fight for her place in his life when it makes you feel disrespected, he's not the one for you, I promise. Guys, this shit is hard. Trust and believe that. And I wish that I could sit here and talk to you guys for so much longer, but my phone is at 2%. I'll make a part